It's Valentine's Day. Ooh. So originally, I planned to play a RPG Maker horror game that's also a Valentine's Day themed game for Valentine's Day. But when I went on the internet and I did a generic Google search for the exact said thing, I didn't exactly get what I was looking for. So I decided on a huge whim. It's been a long time since I last made an RPG Maker horror game, which makes it a little bit terrifying. But hey, I decided that I'ma do it. I'm gonna make a Valentine's Day RPG Maker horror game in, well, less than 4 days. Today is actually Tuesday, Valentine's Day is this Friday, and it currently is 5:50 p.m. So that gives me a little bit less than 4 days then, or rather a little bit more than 3 days to make an RPG Maker horror game. Not just that, but Wednesday I'm busy, so now that's a little bit over 2 days. But not just that, I work a 9 to 5 job, which means I get out of work around this time, but I am a good friend to my Monster Hunter friend companions, and that's gonna start around 8 o'clock. So if right now it's 6 o'clock, that gives me about 2 hours, and then I'll probably be hunting until around 10 o'clock, and then I will probably start editing the videos at that time, where I'll then eventually pass out and fall asleep. So that gives me about 2 hours over Tuesday, and 2 hours over Thursday. Combined together makes 4. How do I do that? I don't even know. Magic. So what that means is I gotta focus. Oh god. We might have to skip a few formalities. This thing I have here, if you ever watched my tutorial series, I said to start with some sort of WordPad or notepad. I have fallen in love with OneNote because I can carry it and use this wherever I go. Game. Yes. So I'll probably just be scatterbraining all across this WordPad. Spooky stuff is gonna happen and we're gonna make it come true. What's gonna happen is that we're gonna be playing as a detective who's solving a mystery of a murder case that only occurs on Valentine's Day. So Valentine's Day murder. And I know that's very, very cliche and kind of a sad excuse to make a Valentine's Day RPG horror game. I feel like you're kind of just stuck with either a love affair or you love someone to death. Literally. Or just slapping Valentine's Day to a murder case. And yes, I am doing that, but understand, I only got 4 hours to do this, and I'm gonna make it happen. Why? Because I feel like doing something for the holidays. So we're gonna do it. Okay, so, yes. Setting. Big caps. Setting, yes. Big cap settings. Where is it gonna take place? It's gonna take place in a motel. And just for no significant reason, it's called Motel 69. And I think there will be a cool theme with it where every room ends in 69. For no apparent reason, of course. Just throwing out a random number out there. No big deal. I don't think I have to detail that part because I can keep that part in my head. So what's gonna happen is that we have 6 girls. Or not 6 girls. 6 couples, sorry. And in this Motel 69, yes, it is indeed a love motel. What goes on in the love motel is, well, people make out. Yes. Family friendly, guys. Family friendly. But 13 years and up, because anyone under the age of 13 thinks making out is gross and disgusting because of cooties. Ha! Family friendly for ages 13 and up. Heck yeah. 6 couples, and there's a murderer somewhere in the room, one of the rooms, and as a detective you gotta figure out which of these rooms will the murderer be hiding in to do their murderous things. And because time is not solid and concrete, meaning that the murder will not take place in 10 minutes and always 10 minutes, it has to be of, well, a random number. I think just to stay around the theme, we will give the player a total of 6 minutes and 9 seconds to solve the murder, as in to figure out which room the murder is in to stop them before they cause the murder. Now, for the lore portion, I'm not gonna tell you guys. That part is gonna be in the depths of the game for you guys to actually play and try out for yourself. Alright, there's the theme there. Now we're gonna hop on over to La Abijimaka. Okay, we're gonna have to make a character. Player, detective, hearts. Alright, Detective Hearts. That is you. You are the hero. You are the detective. We should probably change that too, huh? Detective. And you're going to see all that stats, but I'll be able to change that later on if I manage to have enough time. So for you guys who are developers out there, we're going to do this in my typical way, which is this black screen, so that when we do jump in and hit new game, you will get a black screen and not, well, a awkward moment where you see your little sprite character for a quick second. Instead, it will start off this way, and we're probably going to do like a fade in to this room, which will be the detective's office. The thing to note is that we will be using the RTP set. Now, when we're making this game, because we're so time restricted, we're going to use the RTP set, and we're also going to be very, very bare bone, meaning that we are just going to draw on the map the things that are necessary and skip all the heavy details. But we will put in all the heavy details later in. Not gonna lie, I don't really have enough options. Oh god, this is a little bit sad now. Yes, a very fancy detective office. Look at that fancy carpet. Ho ho, yes. Indeedly, oh god, that looks terrible. So, I decided to look at the other asset pages, and I kind of realized that these are our only options for beds. And it's like a love motel on these things. So, I was gonna have this setting take more place in a modern timeline, but it seems like we might be hitting it off more towards the past, especially when you look at the other assets, and we got these thrones. Like my goosh. Ooh, what if it's a medieval theme love motel? Yes. It's now called Love Throne 69, and we're gonna make things a little bit less obvious and type it as 69. Heck yeah, now that is awesome. Detective's office, admittingly not the best options you have when working with an RTP set, but you also gotta work with what you have, so I guess that's fine for now. We're gonna have Mr. Detective Man over here, which also means we have to create some characters. Oh god. Alright, this is our guy, Detective Hearts. I won't go too much into detail on the facial expressions, but I'll at least save them in case I want to do something more in the future. So, as the game begins, we have Detective Hearts just in his office. Yes, it looks really, really plain and really, really lame, but he's in his office, and, ooh, you know what? Maybe I should add a window. Yeah, I guess that's okay. And our dude is on the case. Detective Hearts has cracked the code. He realized that there is a killer who murders somebody every Valentine's Day, and he seems to have some sort of pattern to the way he murders people. He murders couples where the female is blonde. No offense, females. And that's what we got so far, so we're just gonna put that down. Every Valentine's Day, he strikes, murdering couples on Valentine's Day. So the first puzzle I decided that I'm gonna make. Really? In this overworld map, there's no... Okay, there it is. So in this overworld, there will be a few towns, and it is up to the detective to figure out where he will strike next. Oh my god, look at that. There are towns. I can make actual legitimate towns. Whoa. Just whoa. I didn't know how fancy the world map was. It's my first time actually using it. Alright, so the first puzzle will be to figure out which of these towns will the murderer strike next. It's gonna be pretty obvious when you actually play the game. Put that in perspective, there's gonna be a few cities marked in X as to where he struck before, and then you gotta figure out which of the cities he will strike next. He can't strike in the same town twice, yes, but when you see it, I think it'll be pretty obvious. The real challenging part is how do I make the player do that? So we do a classic character transfer. And now that the player is here, the player will have to click on one of it, and well, I can't show you which one it is. It's gotta be a secret. Alright, so one of these locations will be the winner, all the other ones will be a... But hey, that's up to you guys to decide. BAM! So, if you found it, then you will be transported over to the new map. Otherwise, if you failed, then we get a very sad monologue. Time passes. Seconds to minutes. Minutes turn to... Oh wait, it's turn to, not just turn. Seconds turn to minutes. Minutes turn to hours. Hours turn to the next day. Not much longer you hear of the couple. Oh, the couple. You hear of a couple killed at the Love Throne 6-Night Motel. You gotta have motel at the end. I failed, the detective says. After 6 previously failed years, these 2 couples tally the 9 victims by the V-Day killer. I will detect no more. And just like that, the game is over. That's your first split to the game over screen. But don't worry, there are other possibilities because this game is unique in its gameplay. Woo! On to the next map. It is now Thursday, this time 5:45 p.m. So I got 5 more minutes this time around. But not only that, I also decided to do some work off camera. I decided to make the Love Throne 6-Night Motel. And not just that, but also the hallway. Room 69, and I also went ahead and made all of the characters I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna use. And yes, did you guys check this out? Isn't that awesome? Oh my god. I thought it was so funny when I made it. I am so hysterical. Anyways, I've also went ahead and scripted out all of my dialogue. I won't show you guys it. Maybe I can flash you it. Ready? Did you guys see it? I decided to script it all out just so that we can get through this a lot more faster. I did it all during like my lunch break at work or just whenever I found the time to. Now that said, I am going to go deep into the main stuff. Oh my god, and a whole hour has passed by just so I can write down all the dialogues. But basically what just happened was that this dude just described every single of the guests. He described their hair color, he described the number of times that they showed up, and he described their age. And I want you guys to use him and his hints to figure out who, or rather, which of the couples is about to get murdered. But holy Christ, that took a whole hour to just script out. Now I do gotta start testing, and it's already 6:50, my god. Oh no. Oh no. Generic opening of RPG Maker NV. Airy Valentine's Day. He strikes, murdering unsuspecting couples in love motels. But I'm on to you, V-Day killer. The only question is where? Detective Hart's inspecting his map. In past cases, each of the female victims were blonde. The male, on the other hand, does not seem to matter. And each victim always appear to be the teenage age. Well, that contradicts the things I said earlier. I need to delete that. What makes them special? No, what matters is finding you first. Time is limited. Where will you be? Oh, it works, it works, it works. Oh my god. Alright, so it's getting pretty late and the recording has been going on for almost 2 hours now. But I did want to give you guys at least some little bits of what's there to expect with this game. So if you haven't figured it out yet, this is a completely ironic satire sort of game where it's mostly about the humor and it's a non-serious game. So pretty much we have a very, I wouldn't say dim-witted detective, but a detective who's like, "Oh, it is I, the detective, and I will solve this case because I am the detective. Yes, of course, after all the evidence I gain, I will solve this." That sort of personality. So he actually does have a few bits of cheesy dialogue going on with the owner of the motel, the Love Motel, where people just make out. So some sort of conversation would be something similar to an example, which by the way all the rooms do end in 69. We have Detective Hearts asking the owner about the sort of guess in their hairstyle, or hair color rather. The owner states, "A rather bulky and tough fella with a teal mohawk. The blonde girl also seems to be no stranger to the wild side of making out." Where he then proceeds, "The aura she lets out is just downright intimidating." And with each reply that the owner gives, the detective has a little snide comment, or just a little comment to himself, that gives him a little bit more character. So, Detective Hart's response would be, "Not really my go-to type, but sounds fitting for a cold and solitary job like my own." So out of context, it sounds really cheesy and kind of lame, but once you get the momentum going and you feel the right sort of immersion and character, it's all about that sort of sarcasm and satire. So another one, in room 169, owner will say, "Ah yes, the siblings." "What?" Detective Hart says. Get it? Because that makes no sense in a love motel. "Huh, I only kid. Both blonde, but would easily mistake them for twins." Gross. And these sort of little charms, I guess you can call it, kind of continues throughout the dialogue as he asks the owner more questions, as the owner replies to him, and even as the detective decides to intrude in on their room in hopes to save them or prevent the killer from killing them. I'm sure I got that point across earlier, but that is the point of the game. You're trying to figure out which of these rooms that the killer is in. You got hints from the owner, but it's up to you to barge into that room and ensure that that couple that's making out can make out again tomorrow. Jeez. So currently it is very bare bone. I need to add a whole lot of more little animations. I gotta add a little bit of sound effects and music to make it really all come together and come alive. So I'm adding all these little things to give it more life. And even though it is just a kind of a joke game that I made in like less than 10 hours, I think it's really fun and unique to do. So guys, please, I hope you guys get the chance to check this game out. It's in the comment sections down below. It's in the video description. And I even made a community post about it. So if you guys enjoy it, then do let me know your thoughts of both this video and the thoughts of the game in the comment section down below. Or just comment away on the game page. I'm so excited to see how this thing does. I don't really expect high traffic for this game, but it's mostly just for us to enjoy and have fun. So guys, hit that like button. I worked really hard on it, and if you enjoyed it so very much, then do reach a goal of 69 likes, and then we'll see what happens then. I'll make a sequel if we hit 69 likes. Either a sequel of this video or a sequel of this game. So we'll see how it goes. Comment that down below as well. Alright, I'll see you in the next one. Guys, check this game out. It is wild. Later.